Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Usually throughout last year I did a Premier League Premier League review series where I don't talk about the Premier League but mainly talk about the Premier League and then other things in football. But this year I want to add to that. I want to change what type of videos I'm making, and I want to do a Premier League preview series before each game week, where I just talk about what I think is going to happen in each of the games and how I think each of the games are going to go. So it's going to be shorter because obviously it's more prediction based, so it's not going to be as long as the review ones, because obviously the reviewer can talk about what actually happened, but this will be talking about what I think will happen. Liverpool Bournemouth, to start things off with. Liverpool Bournemouth this game week, I see Liverpool win the first game. Going back, they're holding the title right now. They indeed lost to Palace last weekend. I think they'll have a strong fight to be able to win that game, and Salah will score in that game. Salah always scores in the first game week. Bournemouth, it doesn't mean it's not a bad sign for them, but I think Iraola has already said in pre-season that they just don't seem as ready as you expect them to be. So yeah, Aston Villa, Newcastle, and whereas we know Newcastle have had their struggles with Isak right now, Villa are going to struggle as well, because I don't think Villa have made that great business during transfer window. I felt like it was ended the season a bit shaky, and without Emi Martinez in that first game, there was talks of him leaving anyway. He's still at the club, but he was sent off in the last game of the season, so he's missing the next 3 games anyway. Aston Villa, Newcastle. A couple of years ago, we was really treated to a game here where it was 4-1 Newcastle in the end, I think, and then Aston Villa had a really good year. This year, I just see it being a 2-2 draw. Honestly, I see the teams pretty closely matched, not too much to tear them apart, so I just see it being quite neutral. Both having a good showcase of what they're going to do this season, but nothing outwardly, and none of them taking it for the win. And it's a good first half 12 game. Brighton, Fulham. On the other hand, I feel like both of these teams aren't going to do as well as people expect them to this season, but Brighton are going to start off nicer than Fulham, just to start things off with. I think Fulham at the end of the season will finish higher than Brighton, yes, but for this first game week, I just think Brighton are going to take it. I think under Herzler, they look okay in games and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to see Brighton taking this game. Spurs, Burnley. Burnley's first game back in the Premier League after a year away, and I feel like they're going to get hammered. I think Thomas Frank's Spurs are going to absolutely batter them. Thomas Frank's first Premier League game as the Spurs manager, and I don't think he will hold back whatsoever. Spurs are going to batter Burnley, and Spurs are going to get really hyped for the season, but it's not. Chill out, it's Burnley. Sunderland and West Ham, though, in the van, I feel like Sunderland are going to make a really good account for themselves in this game, and show them what they're all about for the upcoming season. I feel like West Ham aren't going to impress me at all this year. I think West Ham are just going to fall off this year. I think they made some good signings, but I think people kind of shroud West Ham a bit of hype all the time, and I just don't feel like I'm going to follow up with that. I feel like Sunderland can edge a win in this game. I do feel like Sunderland can edge a win, so that's how my bets are going to go with that one. And then Wolves, City. City look like they're going to dominate the league, and it just feels like a game where they just don't do it in the first game, but then they dominate the rest of the year. I feel like this first game, Wolves could take a point off them, potentially. I obviously do think City will win the game, but I feel there's something in the air about the game where something in my mind feels like Wolves can take something in this game. On to the Sunday games. The Sunday games are the big games, the ones that we're all going to talk about. There's 3 games on Sunday, and Chelsea Crystal Palace starting things off with Chelsea, who I see as big favourites getting in the top 4, big favourites to not favourites, but have the potential to push on for a title this year. Crystal Palace, obviously, the fans will be angry losing the case in the Court of Arbitration for Sport this week as well for Europe. I see Palace maybe having a hangover from winning the Community Shield the other day. Crystal Palace not winning this game. It is at Stamford Bridge, so you can see where Chelsea will probably win this game. The current world champions. I think that is fair to say. Chelsea taking a result there on that Sunday game. And then Nottingham Forest versus Brentford. 2 teams that usually can give a bit of it, but this year I don't think I'm going to give a bit of it. I think Forest are going to get caught up in their Europa League adventure, and Brentford are. They've lost some very key players and their manager. I just don't think they're going to start the season strong. I think Forest will win this first game, but it's not to say Forest are going to have a strong season. This is Forest before the Europa League. Like a 2-0 win, something like that. I don't think Brentford are going to too much threat, but we'll wait and see. Hopefully there's excitement, because Brentford have passed on excitement in the past. United Arsenal. I actually feel like we will draw this game. I was saying this to my mate the other day. I feel like Sesko will have a good game in this game. and Gyökeres won't, and it would be very similar to the Community Shield 3 years ago now, when Haaland first came to the Prem and Nunes first came to the Prem, and it's Community Shield, whatever you want to call it, and Nunes scored, Haaland missed a big sitter, and everyone was like, oh, Nunes is going to be really pushing Haaland this year, Haaland's not fit out for it, and then Haaland, broke the goal scoring record. I feel like it's going to be kind of like that. I feel like people are going to, be like bigging up Sesko and downplaying Gyökeres. By the end of the season, Gyökeres will be finishing way ahead in Sesko. As should do. I mean, Gyökeres is a more developed player, Sesko's still a young player. That's fair enough. That is fair enough. I feel like this game will be a draw in the first one. Hopefully United win, but I can't see us winning that first game. I just see it be a draw. And in the Monday game, Leeds with their first game in the Premier League against Everton there. And this is probably the hardest game of the game to call out. Obviously, Dominic Calvert-Lewin joining Leeds this week. I feel like he might just do something against his former club. It's going to be close. It's going to be a close game. I think Leeds are going to go down this year. But we're not talking about my predictions for the year, guys. We're talking about the game week. Leeds to beat Everton. Everton to get a bit of a shock in that first game week. Yeah, I haven't cooked to that. Let me know your predictions for this game week. Obviously, I'm not going through scores. I'll go through scores on my TikTok and stuff like that. Tomorrow, this series will be a preview. It may sometimes include how the form is going for teams. I'm going to slowly develop how I present it to you as well. Obviously, right now, it is just me talking to you. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how it goes. I do thank you for watching, guys. If you like the video, still like, see more, subscribe. Thank you for watching, guys, and hopefully I do see you in the next one. Cheers.